provide for public health and safety.
Thank you very much for your comment. And I have to tell you, your voice sounds like something I just heard in a movie theater. You should do voiceovers. Very, very, very well. Thank you very much. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and leave those flyers. Thank you. And thank you for all you do. Councilman Lutz, if you wouldn't mind taking over for me, I need to take a 2-minute break because I drank a lot of water. Would you mind?
Next, please.
Yeah. I'm sorry. One thing I forgot to mention is it's not just me that's going, but I want everybody to be proud of the fact that I was really trying to get back into shooting hoops and people. That's been a problem. Hopefully maybe they'll have where they move from Belvedere to Peterborough because it's too far to be out there. It'd be too far to go all the way other than Belvedere. Because instead of us, we don't run on the street anyhow. And this is something that I would really like to do again.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. All yours.
Old man falls down, Sue's tempo.
Joe Miner, 392 South Main Street, Phillipsburg. The next meeting of the present committee will be Sunday, April 22nd at 394 South Main Street. Rent control, roommating, and homesteading will be the topics for the next time. That's the total announcement for this. That's my public announcement. You can either show up or not show up. That's your business. Public comment. You do not need more committees. You do not need more ordinances. The present difficulties would be best solved by more labor. You need 2 inspectors, an inspection department assistant, another assistant to the clerk, an upgrade at the town hall door, and a recreation director, and money for the children at a cost of $450,000 more in the budget. Budgeting and spending our money will look bad, but in the long run will be good for our town. Then you can slowly and carefully rewrite good ordinances, starting with an efficient and fair system of order. That's what I wanted to say. In addition, did I do that? What? No, don't. Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Lutz. Joe, I missed it.
You're going to be against it in the house.
Never.
Here, no, you read it. You read it. It's public comment.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Mr. Feely, name and address for the record.
Wait, Billy, 237 Lower Avenue, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Signs. Big bag. Where's that big, beautiful sign I've been talking about for a year that used to be down there by the sewer plant? I asked the mayor several times if we get that put back up.
Just talk about the Main Street grant. Yeah,
Welcome to Phillipsburg time.
Main Street grant.
Yeah, the one Harry Wine had installed.
Yeah, we had, Mr. Feely, you're talking about the one similar to the one that Mayor Ellis has up on
22
Roseberry
in
Street?
Roseberry.
Yes. Okay. I do know that that was purchased with the Main Street Grant Program, and looking further into it, it does need to go somewhere here in the town of Phillipsburg because it was purchased with that grant. Speaking with the mayor, he has some prospects for the Agway building. I would like to see. That is truly where you enter the town of Phillipsburg.
Oh, I believe it.
So I would
It'll
like
look
to
beautiful right
see,
there.
I'd like to talk to the mayor and maybe he'll go ahead and put it right there.
Yeah, just
It's
wait
a
in
wonderful
Phillipsburg, 2
location.
dump sites.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, he does have a plan, so
Oh, he had a plan to put the sign back too. Maybe if he didn't screw around with the county, with that piece of land where he has those picket fences, could have put it there.
I'm speechless. Mr. Feely?
I know the story.
Do you have anything else?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir, continue.
Handicap spots down at the, hot dog stand lot,
Yes.
Riverside Way.
Riverside Way. Were they ever painted in yet?
I don't think that we got that far with the ordinance yet. Did we get that far?
Stan is gonna go out and do a survey of all the municipal lots, and then, what is the code that you reference in terms of determining how many handicap spaces go per lot?
It's the
I guess it's the ADA.
access board, ADA access board
Yeah.
has code requirements for that. It's
So-
federal statute.
Because the last time I asked the mayor, he said Stanley Schreck approved of everything. And when I look at the ADA, there's 5 spots per 100. And there's none.
You said 5 spots per 100?
5 spots per 100, and there's none down there.
Okay.
And don't count the ones that are in front of Jimmy's Hot Dog. That's third.
I don't believe the plan has none, but we'll look.
Well, if it's not in the plan,
Yeah, no,
are you not supposed to?
we didn't strike.
provide it?
Yeah, we didn't strike.
Because I saw the New Jersey Transit ones striped and handicap spots are there. And, Mr. Cooper?
I am listening to you. I'm sorry.
I think that's your attention.
You do have my attention.
The Mercer Street lot, Mercer and, Stockton. Your place, Mr. West.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are those trailers doing down there?
That's
Park?
St. Phillips and St. James, that's none of our, that's not our property.
I thought that's the municipal lot.
Nope, that's St. Phillips and St. James property.
Is that right? It seems to me. All right, Cedar Alley lot, behind the old bakery.
Right.
Disaster.
I
Looks like hell.
totally agree with you, Stan is supposed to go down, and since we passed the ordinance, Stan is supposed to go down and start laying it out and do what we have to do.
How you gonna clean that up?
Gets to town,
I mean, I'm not.
why don't you go down with a shovel,
His butt.
on some paper bag, or some plastic bag, and
I'm under
start.
doctor's care. I gotta ask if I can do the dishes in the morning.
Mr. Feely, since I've been attending meetings, probably one of the funniest things I think I've heard you say. Ms. Bullis.
Melissa Paulus, 26A Glen Avenue. Again, I'm still waiting for that meeting with the mayor and Mr. Wenner. I have not been contacted by Mr. Wenner to set up a meeting. I have not received answers to my questions that I've asked of the mayor. I have not received any responses to the emails I have sent the mayor. But amazingly, my employer received a letter from the mayor in reference to him requesting disciplinary action against me. Yeah, nice, huh?
I can't
Wow.
Wow.
After he posted on Facebook my employment, or where I'm employed, and then deleted it after I told him that he'd be hearing from my attorney. I had asked specifically on Facebook after he had posted about the businesses that used to be in the town of Phillipsburg, and I asked him what businesses has he attracted to Phillipsburg in the past 2 years that he's been solely responsible for. His response to me was, more than you. I am not the mayor, I'm not an elected official, it's not my job to attract businesses or investors here. I believe that his responses are inappropriate and need to be addressed. What he sent to my chairman, requesting disciplinary action, he also submitted falsified documents that he noted was Clinton Township Sewerage Authority bylaws that are not our bylaws. he falsified documents, which is a cut and paste fraud with willful intent to cause harm. So, I'm putting him on notice, as well as the town, if this type of behavior continues against me with retaliation to silence me, I will seek legal action. By letter dated March 10th, which I don't understand why it was dated March 10th, but it was just received yesterday, April 16th, Mayor Ellis sent a letter to the chairman of the Clinton Township Sewerage Authority, Stephen Cromenhock, enclosing what Mayor Ellis referred to as bylaws of the authority. The purpose of the letter was obviously to allege that I had used authority resources for personal use in violation of the authority's bylaws. The use of authority resources amounted to several fax transmissions. The authority has a flat rate fax charge, so there was no cost to for the actual faxes. When the faxes were sent, I was on personal time, and therefore the sending of those faxes did not detract from my official duties as the administrator of the authority. The purported bylaws that were sent by Mayor Ellis do not appear to be the bylaws of the authority. What was sent seemed to apply to a township or city council and not an independent authority. The reference to Clinton Township Sewage Authority is incorrect. The correct name of my employer is Clinton Township Sewerage Authority. Further, the personal action referred to in the document deal only with political activity, distribution of campaign material, and actual campaigning. None of those emails or faxes dealt with any of those matters, and no confidential information with regard to the authority was ever disclosed by me. It is clear that the document sent by Mayor Ellis is a fabrication or applies to a different city and not the Clinton Township Sewerage Authority. This document was obviously sent by Mayor Ellis, knowing that it was a false document with clear intent to injure me by interfering with my employment.
If you don't mind. Did he identify himself
As mayor, yes.
Yes.
He signed it.
Do you mind if may I see it?
Sure.
You don't have to show it to me, I'm just asking.
I have nothing to hide.
Okay.
I know, but he signed it as mayor.
Right, just so you know, the town
And in
did
the
not,
letter, it's referenced as him being a public official.
we did not authorize
Oh, I
this,
realize
and the
that.
mayor does act on his own accord.
I have been a victim of his personal attacks against me, starting in August of last year. I have documented everything.
Recall.
No. What you brought forth is a very serious issue.
Oh, it is.
I'm
It is the
not,
most serious of all.
ma'am, you understand, I am
I
not
understand.
minimizing that at all. He's not here tonight, but, I believe that we will make him aware that it was.
We're not gonna comment.
No, I don't blame him. You shouldn't.
Okay. So under Attorney
I-
Leonard's advice, I can't comment.
I understand.
But I do appreciate you bringing it for us.
Thank you.
Let's see if you do a report on that.
Okay. Ms. Paulson.
Good stuff.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Boyce.
Dan Boyce, 244 Irwin. If I may, I'd like to address Councilman Lutz. From what Melissa just posted here, Mr. Lutz, I'd like to thank you for changing your vote on the ethics ordinance. You can see the importance of what it was. I think you should be commended for the reasons you said, that it's time to move forward. You have to work together, and it's time to put all this to rest and move on. Okay, I want to thank you and wish you well in your pursuit
Thank
for the
you.
nomination.
that it? There being no further public petitions, we can move forward to council open time. Council Vice President DeGirolamo, are you still with us?
I am.
Well, Council Vice President, I bet you that's the most interesting phone conversation you've had in a long time.
I wish I would have made all of it, but these darn phones
Since-
don't seem to last. So.
Since you are on the phone, I'm sure...
Yeah, plugged in and good.
Oh, okay, so would you like Councilman Lutz to go before you?
Yes, please.
Thanks.
Councilman Lutz?
I wasn't going to mention anything, but I'm going to mention what I feel. I'd like to make a motion from council to the mayor that we bring the original sign back to Walters Park. I have a second.
Second. Roll call vote. Unless there's discussion. Roll call vote, Vicki.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Councilman Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Council President Fulmer?
Yes.
The other quick thing, I know we don't have an ordinance for this, but our taxi cab drivers, I feel that they should submit a background check. Because they are one of the most important people that carry people around town. And I also feel that the town council should automatically have a background check. If we're going to be involved in the public, if we're going to be involved with children, I think we all should be on the background check. And I'd be glad to pay for my own, it doesn't matter to me.
You'll find, no, I'm background checked every 2 years for coaching, so.
I'm background every 4 years on my CDL, so it doesn't matter
Sure.
to me. But I like us all to be upfront with everything, so nobody can come back.
It's Councilman McVeigh, if we're going.
Sure, so,
Can I wake you up?
no. So as it relates to the tax cab, we can drop an ordinance if that's what the council wants, no problem.
Okay.
2011, I think it was, I don't know if Mr. Timmer was around then, but 2011, the council did adopt a resolution encouraging elected officials, being the council, to submit their background examination. There is no, I mean, if it comes back in a certain way, it doesn't mean anything, or still an elected official, but you can certainly go ahead if you want to put the citizens' minds at ease, you can vote to do that. You can't require one of your own to do that.
I think they tried doing that one time before. Is that what you?
2011.
Yeah, I remember that. I was in attendance at that meeting. Yeah, that was a pretty good meeting. That was Councilman Stebbins, right?
Yep.
I'll support that, Councilman.
Do we vote on it?
Do we vote on
I can just draft the resolution and put it forward.
Okay.
for consideration.
Thank you. That's all I have, thank you.
it? No, Councilman, thank you. Council Vice President DeGirolamo.
I pulled back on you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just one quick comment. That's all I have. I know there was some discussion and some comments I've heard regarding questioning the mayor's information on the youth, Walters Park use, the past meeting. And I just wanted a quick statement on that. You know, Northwest Cap submitted paperwork to have an event there. Historically, the youth organizations have had to fill out paperwork every time they want to use a field for practice, games, an entire season. It's about being fair. We just want everybody treated fair in town, and we want to make sure that process is enacted. You know, if something was done and it had to be done hastily, that's fine. All the mayor had to do was say he was aware of it and thought it was in the best interest, and I'm sure every council member would have concurred. But it's just about making sure everybody's being treated fair. And that's all I had on that comment. You know, we're trying to enact ordinances to enforce things, and if we're not going to enforce them, why have them? So it's just about being fair. That's all I have.
Council Vice President, thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. Councilman McVeigh?
After listening to a lot of the public petitions tonight, a couple of meetings ago, I had suggested to the mayor to have a quality of community conference on how, and he seemed very interested in it. There was a few follow-up questions. That's a quality of it's much needed. It's a great suggestion, and it really has to come from the top. I told him before, as a term I use, speed of the leader, speed of the pack. He has to head this. If he chooses to do this with department heads, elected officials, non-elected officials, people on board, all your stakeholders in the town really should be part of this. There's a lot going up. There's much grander plans such as the redevelopment, which is underway, and that's great. But this I'm talking is a more core. This is listening to what's being said at that podium and having it come from the Senate. One of the first things I said when I submitted my petition for election was, it's got to come from the core of this town out. Most of everything has to be that way. Nobody builds a house without a great foundation. Right now, we got some things going on, and that's good, but the foundation really isn't there from within. I really believe the town should have a strategic plan full of goals and missions on how to accomplish those goals and strategies to that. And it's got to come from the top, and it's got to go down. I wouldn't even mind getting a document from a mayor, the strategic plan. If the mayor wants to submit it, including council, it would come down to us and we'd go off his directive. It's a good way to run things because there's communication from the top administrator of the town right down to the newest hire. And everyone's on the same board. We go around a lot. I know I do businesses, and I still speak with people that when I went knocking on doors for 9 months. I do that on the weekends sometimes. People left impressions in my head. I find it relieving to go back. I know Council President, you have gone and accompanied me plenty of times. And it seems like every department everyone speaks a different language. It's almost like we're Europe. Even though Spain is only this big, you go to the next country over, there's Germany, it's a completely different language. And that's what we have kind of going on. And I encourage the mayor, and he seemed receptive to it. I hope he takes itinerary help, the seriousness of getting a nice core quality community summed together with the town's stakeholders of who has their hand in decision-making stuff, and listening to what is being said here. It's a lot of good stuff coming from here, and it's got to be heard. That's all I have.
Councilman Davis.
I'm good for this evening, thank you, Council President.
Really? Yeah. I just have a few things. One, I'd like to thank the Express Times for coming out this evening. So thank you. I do appreciate that, and I mean that. I'd also like to, it's kind of weird because he's my best friend, but when I left to go on a bathroom break, I heard Pete Pisello offer to purchase property here in the town of Phillipsburg and sell it to Miss Cooper for her garden. I don't care. You need to be recognized. You guys got a big heart, and that's it's too bad you live in Low Pack. I'm just moving back here. Thank you. It's getting there. I'd like to echo Mr. Morissette's sentiment as well. Mrs. Morissette, Mr. Skirbo, I hope you understand my comments regarding the tax increases were in jest. I meant nothing by them. I do appreciate all that you do. I do have 4 children in the system, and I'm very thankful for everything that you do for them. The Saturday, I have the pleasure, and I would hope that all of council could be in attendance, if possible, to commemorate Miss Anne Marie Fleming. We will be renaming officially Anderson Street, the lower portion of Anderson Street, from Lincoln all the way down to Railroad Avenue to Fleming Drive. And it will be my honor, and I hope your honor, to be in attendance and see you cry. Don't do it now.
Yeah, but they usually do that to dead people when they're gone and aren't alive.
Well, we want to make sure you're alive. Listen, we want to make sure you're alive for it. I'm going to say it. Council Winter actually just said fake it. So, The last thing on my list is, many of you know that myself, Pete, Brad, Scott, we founded a group called Citizens for a Cleaner Community back when Blaine threatened to burn my house down. Back in 2012, and we ran a lot of drives, Christmas drives, Easter drives. We did food drives, town cleanups. And since I've taken office, I haven't had the opportunity to do much of that anymore. And Pete has since moved on, and he started flipping houses, making money, and I'm here making $3,500. So, two residents of the town, Kim Fleck and Stephanie Lilly, have taken over the Citizens for a Cleaner Community, and they ran their very first successful Easter drive. And I'd like to thank them for their involvement. And I'm sure it's in the right hands, and make us proud. Do everything you possibly can to take care of the people inside our community, because that's what it was meant to do. That's all I have. Did I mention Kelly Brooks Morris?
Yes.
I did. Thank you. All right. I'm good. We have one motion. Oh, before I forget, the Burtown Falcons and the Steel Hill Bulldogs, they both won championships in basketball. I'd like to give them a proclamation at the next council meeting. Okay, it's on the 24th, Matt. Will you be able to make it? Is Nicole Timmerman? Nicole, will the Steel Hill Bulldogs, do they have a baseball game that day?
I'll have to double check.
Can you check for us? Because we would like both groups here to show some sort of unity, and I'd like to give you guys both a proclamation. The kids did a really good job this year. We have one last motion, and that is to waive parking fees for the Shad Festival on April 26th through the 29th.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call vote, Vicki.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Council President Goldberg?
It's going to stop my emails. Yes.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much for coming out tonight.